encryption and decryption. So in the public key management, so for public key management, as the name itself it tells, for encryption using the public key cryptography, there for encryption usually use the public keys, and for decryption you are using the private keys. And this public key is known by the almost all users. Whoever want to make communication with the other user, so that user public key, if it is known, then only you can encrypt the message and you can send or transfer that message to that particular user. So here caution is how you will manage that particular public key. Okay, that is what we call as a public key management. So to manage this public key management, caution is how you will share your public key with all other users whoever want to communicate here. So for sharing that, once again it must be shared securely, because that key, if it is known by the attackers, then attackers what they will do, they will send the message which may contain the any of the harmful informations. Okay, it may be virus, threats. Okay, so to prevent from such type of the harms, what is the thing you are doing here? So you have to securely share this public key also. So to share that public key, one of the possibility is there, that is you take the help of the public key certificate, which provides the assurance that yes, that user is the genuine user and that user is having the authority to use your public key, and they can use that public key to communicate with you. So that communication is through encryption. So that encrypted messages you can encrypt with the help of this public key here, and these keys available with the help of the public key certificate. So this is true that, so whether you are the genuine user or not, if you are the genuine user, then you have the authority to access or use that public key. So if you are the attacker, then what is the thing here? You have to prove your authentication first. So then attackers will fail to prove their authentication. Due to that reason, they are not able to access your public key. So that public key, it is available with the help of public key certificate. So why we go for this public key certificate? That is motivation for public key certificates. One situation or criteria where we require or go for public key certificate. Does the verification key belong to Alice here? So now if you have the public key certificate, one thing you remember, assume that Alice and Bob want to communicate here. So now Alice require the public key if Alice want to send the message to Bob here. So that Bob's public key is known by the Alice, and with the help of that public key, that message is encrypted and it is transferred to Bob here. So now here, as I told, that public key you require. Alice want the public key of the Bob here. How Alice will get that key? By public key certificate. So that public key certificate is generated by whom? It is generated by Bob. Bob is created or generated the public key certificate, and that certificate can access by the allies if they want to access that public key. So for that, this allies want the verification key. So if allies have the verification key, then only with the help of that verification key, allies can access this public key certificate, and allies can get the public key of the Bob, and later their allies can communicate here. So now here thing is, what does that verification key belong to allies here? So if allies are the genuine user, then that allies will have that verification key, and with the help of that verification key only that allies can get this public key certificate, and then only it is possible to encrypt or access the public key to make the encryption. Could allies deny that this is her verification key here? So for example, assume that allies will not ready to do the signature now. Okay, Bob is having the verification key and Bob is also having the public key certificate. If allies deny that I don't want to, okay, allies verification key is available with the Bob, but allies is not ready to do the signature, then what's happened here? Then it's create the problem here. So could Alice deny that this is her verification key? So once Alice will prove that yes, this is my verification key, then only Alice verification key can be sent to the Bob here. So Bob, if they have that verification key, with the help of that verification key, Bob can extract this public key from the public key certificate here. So for that you have to assure that Alice will, if they want to make communication, Alice will ready to share her verification key here. If Alice have the public key certificate, then Alice has to provide the verification key if any others want to communicate with the Alice here. Next is the verification key is valid. So that validity is also very important. As I told, for every key lifetime is there. If that verification key is expired, then later if any person use that verification key, this is not the valid here, because that verification key is expired here. Expired verification key if it is used, because thing is, as you know that once that key lifetime is over, then before destruction it maybe take some time here. Okay, that one you store in the key archival. So if the attacker will get that verification key from the key archival before destroying that key, if it is known by the attackers, then attackers, they can use this verification key for get the public key of the Alice here. So that's why here thing is what you have to check that whether what is the lifetime of the verification key, and that verification key is valid or not. If it is valid, then only it is able to allow the or access this public key certificate. Okay, so if you are using the public key certificate, to get that public key from the certificate, you require the verification key, and that verification key is very important here. So for that you have to verify whether it is the verification key belongs to that particular user, and also you check what is the validity of the verification key. Once if you are confirmed, later you can make the communication with that particular party here. So due to this reason we have to go for verification certificate, public key certificate, and for public key certificate you require the verification key. Next is providing the assurance of purpose. So this is the one scenario where we provide a strong association between the public key and the owner of that key, the entity whose identity is linked to the public key here. So now here thing is what it is, strong association must be there between the public key and the owner of that particular key. So owner of that particular key depends on what? Identity. So now identification of the entity must be related with the public key. Then you can assure that that owner identification is proved, and that public key can be used by the other user if they want to communicate here. If the attackers, for example, I am the attackers, to harm you all, I'll create my public key certificate and I'll distribute to all others my verification key here. All will use that verification key, and with the help of that verification key they will access the public key of the mine, and they will send the message here. So now here thing is what it is, so they will communicate with that particular, with me. So but my intention is what? My intention is to harm all the users here. So but all those users don't know whether that user is the genuine user or not here. So in that situation it may create the problem. There is the loopholes in the security here. To avoid from such type of the scenario, so there must be the for every owner. If you want to communicate, then if you want to distribute your public key certificate, so the identification of the owner is also very important. You have to identify that owner is the genuine user. If the user identification is proved, then only you allow that public key certificate to distribute among the others here. Next is provide a strong association between public key and any other relevant data. such as expiry dates and usage restriction. As I told earlier, so this public key also you are having the lifetime, so that expiry date if it is known, okay, then thing is what it is, if everyone know that expiry date, so based on that they will decide that this, okay, what is the lifetime once that key is, okay, expired. So the later if anyone try to use that key or use the help of that key, if they encrypt, remaining all will get to know that this user is not a genuine user here, because they are using the, okay, expired key here. That expiry date if it is known, then only it is possible here. So that's why providing the assurance of the purpose, okay, which purpose you want to use. So that public key, okay, so if it maybe belongs to the user, identification of the user is also very important, and to check the validity whether the public key is the expired or not, that one also, okay, expiry date if it is included in the public key certificate, then everyone will get to note what is the expiry date for that public key here. Next is providing a point of trust here. So now question is how you will share that public key and how you will prove the trust here, because thing is what it is, now I am the genuine user and I will create my public key certificate here and I need to distribute among the other users. So all those users trust is also very important here, providing a point of trust here, because thing is what it is, now internet is open source network, anyone can access, okay. So now while accessing that certificate, so question is that user is the genuine user or not. You have to make trust on the users, so that is also very important. If you want to use the public key of the any users to make communication, so first you have to prove that, okay, you have to get the trust among the all those users here. So for that you can go for using a trusted directory here. Using a trusted directory means what? In this directory you will get the informations related to the all the genuine user to whom you want to communicate or to whom with whom you want to share your public key certificate. So first you have to check the whether that users are genuine users or not. That one you can verify with the help of this trusted directory. So in the trusted directory you will get the informations related to all the users here. So now in the trusted directories you are having the several significant problems here. What is that? Let's see. First one is the universality. The directory has to be trusted by all users of the public key management system here. So this trusted directory must be, okay, first it must be the give the assurance that yes, all the users will follow that public key management system here, because it is once again trusted directory is open and that directory, okay, if any users want to, okay, access the public key certificate, first they will have to check this public, okay, trusted directory here, and that trusted directory also must be trusted here. Availability. The directory has to be online and available at all times to user of the public key management. One thing is this trusted directory is the secure one, and here you are having the only genuine users information. That proof is very important. Next is, okay, whoever want to use this, so that's why you have to, okay, provide this directory online. So anyone if they want to access at any time, yes, you trusted directory must be available to access by the all the user at any time. So when it is possible if you are having the online. Next is the accuracy. The directory needs to be maintained accurately and protected from unauthorized modification. This is also very important. So in the trusted directory, what are the informations you are maintaining? No. So that information must be accurate. Okay. That users are, okay, so genuine users or not, that also you have to check, and don't allow others to make modification in that information. Only authorized user have the authority to access that information, and authorized user have the information add or delete here or update the information. So it is very simple. Trusted directory means what it is. If I want to communicate, so first for that I need the public key certificate of mine. with whom I want to communicate. Then what is the thing? I have to register myself to this trusted directory, and I have to prove that I am the authorized user. As anyone can use my public key certificate for making communication with me here. Okay, so now this is the important here. So for that, what is the thing is required? First I have to trust this particular directory. Then only I can approach this, okay, and I can register myself here. And also, what are the information I stored here? As I told here, validity is everything, expiry date. Based on the expiry date, so if my public key is expired, then automatically it must be removed from the trusted directory. Otherwise, others can access that trusted, okay, my public key, which one is expired here. Okay, that is also very important here. Next is public key certificates. So as I told earlier, public keys are available in the public key certificate. Now question is how we'll generate that public key. So public key certificate is a data that binds a public key to data relating to assurance of purpose of that public key. So what actually this public key certificate contains? It contains the data. That data contains what? Public key, and also which purpose you want to use this public key. Assurance of the purpose is also very important here. That related information is also binded inside this public key certificate. Let's see what are the contents comes under in this public key certificate. Contents of a public key certificate. It contains four essential pieces of information. One is name of the owner. So if I am the owner, first thing is what it contains: name of the owner and public key value, validity time period, and signature. So these are the four important contents which are more important in the public key. So these are the number of fields which are available in public key certificate. First is the version. So this version specifies the which version you are used. Usually at present version V3 is used, which is specified X.509 version here. And serial number, unique identifier for the certificate. So for all the public key certificate, one unique ID is there. That ID only we call as a serial number. Next is digital signature. So signature, so here you are using the public key certificate, it is through the online. So in that we require the signature, but that is online. That's why here we are using the digital signature. To get that digital signature, algorithms are available. With the help of those algorithms, we will get the sign to the certificate here. Digital signature is generated with the help of these algorithms. Issuer. Who are issuing this one? Name of the creator of the certificate. Next is validity. Date and time between which the certificate is valid. Subject. Name of the owner of the certificate. Next is public key information. Public key value, identifier of public key algorithm, issuer ID. Optional it is identifier for certificate creator. So subject ID, optional identifier for certificate owner. So who is creating this particular certificate? So identification of issuer ID, and who want that certificate, that is what we call as a subject ID. Once that time is validity is expired, then you can go for extension. So extension is the range of optional fields that includes what? Key identifier. So key usage, location of revocation information, identifier of policy relating to certificate, alternative names for owner. So in the extension, these are the information comes. Next is location of key pair and the certificate creation. Key pair generation can be performed either by the owner of the public key pair or a trusted third party who may or may not be the CA. CA is the chartered accountant. Okay. So who will create this particular certificate. Okay. So that person we call as a CA, and that person is having the authority to use this. Okay. So next, trusted third party generation. Now thing is what? You need to generate a public key pair. So for that we require the trusted third party, because this key must be maintained by whom? It must be maintained by okay, one person, that person we call as a trusted third party generation here. If you are going for trusted third party generation, then you have the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages are trusted third party may be better placed than the owner to conduct the relatively complex operations involved in generation of the public key pair. So now if I want the public key, how will I get that public key? So for getting that public key, we need to do some procedure. So that is what we call as the generation of the public key here. What procedure or what operations we need to get that public key, that one is not known by you. So what are the complex operations are involved in generation, that is also not known by you. So then you can take the help of the trusted third party. So what is the work of trusted third party here? That work is to generate the public key for you. The key pair generation process does not require the owner to do anything. So here thing is what it is. Now if I want my public key, so for getting that public key, just I go and approach this third party, and it is the headache of the third party to generate that particular public key here. So just thing is what they will generate, and they will give the what is the public key. So that's why what are the process you have used, that one is not known by the owner here. Owner just they want the public key here. So how they were getting that public key, that may be known or may not known. So because we are getting from trusted third party here. So this is the advantages if you are going for getting the public key with the help of this trusted third party. Disadvantages. Let's see what are the disadvantages if you are go and approach the trusted third party to get your public key. The owner needs to trust the third party to securely distribute the private key to the owner. Yes, if you are having the trust on that third party, then only you can go. If the third party what are the key you are generated, if that party know that what is the public key of your so then that third party can share the same key to the others here. What is the proof here? So that's why you have to check whether that third party is trusted or not. And also that third party is to securely distribute your private key to the owner. So now public key pair contains private key and the public key, and these keys are generated by trusted third party. Trusted third party must be assured that so only the owners so this third party, what are the keys generated, that key is only shared by the owner here. So how you are distributing, that distribution is also securely you have to distribute here. And owner needs to trust the third party to destroy the private key after completion. So now once if your work is completed and nowhere you want to use that private key, you want the new key, then thing is what you have to assure that that third party is destroyed your private key here, previous private key if it is destroyed, otherwise that can be used by the other person, then may also it creates the problem here. So that's why if you are going for third party to get the public keys, public and private keys, you can approach the trusted third party. Advantages are here, disadvantages is also here. Advantages is what you don't bother about what are the complex operations are involved in generating the keys here, and here just you get the key, you don't bother about what are the process they use to get that particular key here. Disadvantage is what, so here the trusted third party is also must be assured that yes, that key is shared between you and the third party, because third party know that so the third party know your keys, and that key is only shared between you, and while distributing also it is distributed securely here. So this is about your